welcome back to my channel. And it's Deb C. And pleased to be, it's Deb C. Bloop, bloop, that's me. Boop, Deb C. Hey guys, and happy Tuesday. I hope everybody is having a wonderful week and had a great day. Last night I watched all of The Bachelor. I made my notes. Look, we have copious notes. Front and back. Woo! Okay, so let's talk about it. They are down to 10 women. Is it me, or is this is going kind of quickly this season? Okay, so Jesse, okay, when I say I made notes, I did not make notes about the very beginning of the show. Sorry. It was, I'm gonna say that it was probably women crying or Carolina drama, because that's what this season has been. Okay, so Jesse comes in, gathers the ladies, lets him know, ladies, I know that you're not gonna like this, but there are no dates this week. And we're like, why? We know why. It's because Grant isn't in the city. As a matter of fact, he's not in the country. That's because it's going international this week. And where they're going is they will be traveling to Madrid, Spain. Ooh, love it. So they're in Spain. You know, they're trying out the bed. They're trying out the bed. They're looking at the hotel room, checking out the digs. Grant and Jesse are playing a little basketball and they're talking. And Grant thinks, listen, maybe there's a slow burn amongst all the women that, you know, I haven't gotten to know yet. And that could maybe possibly be someone that I could see myself spending the rest of my life with. Okay, so all the ladies are gathered together. They just happen to all be together at an outdoor cafe, just having some sangria. Oh, that sounds nice. Here comes Grant. Grant looking all fresh and fly, fresh and clean, and so fresh and so clean. And he sits down, he's talking with them, and he announces, hey, guess what, ladies? I have a one-on-one date today, and the lucky lady that is going to be exploring the city, aka walking around town, is Dina. So he picked Dina because he thinks she's fun. However, he wants to see if she can let down her walls. And she says that she grew up being told that, like, showing your emotions means you're weak. You don't ever want to be weak. So just don't show your emotions. But she wants him to see that I have a soft side also. Like, I have it together, but I also have a side where I can be vulnerable and emotional. So they're walking around town. The one thing that I thought was pretty cool was that wish wall. And the wish wall, I believe the woman said there were like 10,000, I think it was 10,000 written wishes. Everybody just writes their wish and then you ring the bell. So they write out their wish on a wish wall, and both of them were similar in that they wanted to find the person they're gonna marry, and they want to start a family and they want to have kids. They then go out on a rowboat. They talk a little bit about themselves. We find out that both of them are givers, and Dina is really in on the whole thing of like people being 50-50 in a relationship. Like a guy can be emotional in a relationship and have a woman be a giver, or vice versa. So, and he liked that, and I think that's perfect. So the late night dinner, he feels like he got a lot out of Dina, but he wants to get a little bit more depth out of Dina. He says that you remind me of my mom. And I think it's because of like the regimented side of her, which she took as a compliment. I would. She said that she's one of 11 kids. There were 11 kids. So she says she held back a lot just because there were so many kids in the family, And they were all taught to just be like very regimented, very non-emotional, like don't show your emotions. But what did I put here? She really does want her relationship to be blank. Fill in the blank. I guess she really wants her relationship to be, like I said, 50-50, like everybody contributes, but like you can lean on me and I'll lean on you. So he says that in his last relationship ended, like his last long-term relationship had ended because he put so much time into his career that he sort of neglected that relationship. And no duh, she gets the rose because he wanted more depth, and she did go in and tell, show, hey, listen, here's why I am the way that I am, but I do want to open up and I do want to be a little bit more vulnerable and a little bit more emotional. Okay, so back at the hotel, the ladies are talking, and Carolina says she feels like, I feel like I haven't had enough time with Grant. She doesn't have enough time with Grant. She just had a one-on-one. Meanwhile, she has hijacked one of the group dates, so she had time there. Whereas a lot of these other women have not had one-on-one dates, and they haven't had all this time. So I can see where it would be coming off as like entitled, ungrateful, tone deaf. So, and then she says, I don't like to see him date other women, and watching him kiss others I'm not a fan of that. Okay, listen, here's the thing. This is how the show is. Have you watched it? Have you seen it? I'm sure that you have. If you put your resume, really, if you applied to be on this show, and how would you put a resume on for that though? Like, how do you resume? Anyways, Gen X or me, you put your resume in on a zip drive. Anyways, you print it up on scented pink perfume paper a la Ella Woods, you applied to be on the show. So you obviously know how it works. Like, everybody in the world has some idea of how this dating show would work, okay? If you say there's one guy and you start off with 25, 30 women, I mean, it's apparent that he's going to be dating all these women at once. So, I mean, you would know how it works. But also, she did that herself. Like, during that challenge, the dancing the singing challenge, she won that challenge, and she sucked face with him in front of everybody. So, I mean, you don't like seeing it, but you're okay doing it? Okay. I don't understand. So there is a group date this week. On the group date, it is Alex, Latia, Carolina, Natalie, Rose, Parisa, Zoe, and Juliana. Love is a wild ride. That's the group date theme. So the one-on-one goes to Serafina. Good for her. Okay, the group date starts off where they go to the city of Chichon, and it's this very quaint city with like cobblestone streets and everything. So how do they get around? They get on these adorable donkeys, and they're riding along. And isn't it a shame that Carolina got the slowest donkey? This donkey was like, bitch, karma is coming. I'm going to put you at the back of the pack. I love that. So they go and they learn how they meet a female matador. And they learn about bullfighting because bullfighting isn't just... I get it. I know it's a part... I know it's a part of the culture, but I always feel bad for that animal. Always. 157%. So they pretend like they're, they get their red cape and they pretend to like be dodging the bull. The bull, of course, is Grant pushing a wheelbarrow with horns. So they have some fun with that. And I'm like, wait a minute. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna be having like a bullfighting thing? And so it's this female matador, Jesse, and then I don't even remember who the other person is. And so welcome to the whatever it was. I don't know. I don't speak Spanish. I don't read Spanish. So maybe the bullfighting explosion, Bullfight-a-palooza or something. I don't know. The Bachelor Bullooza. So look at that. They're like in the crowd. We have such a crowd that I look at that crowd. It goes mild. There were like 10 people there. I think one lady looked like she was getting ready to fall asleep. So they unveil the bull, and the bull is a mechanical bull. So they got to ride this bull. Nobody is doing it great. Nobody. But then Alex gets up there. She's born on a farm. She's like, I can do this. And she's smart to hold the bull around, put both arms up around the horns. And she holds on for like 47 seconds, ass up, holding on the whole way. So I'm like, hooray, she's going to win it. But then here comes Zoe. Zoe sees this. She does the same thing. Arms tucked in, holding on, ass up, and she wins. She wins the prize, the trophy, and she wins a little extra time with Grant. Boo! But if I'm being completely honest, going into the season, I was thinking that Zoe was going to be the main villain. Zoe is not the main villain. We all know who that is. Okay. So at the after party, Juliana speaks out, not to everybody else. I don't think she does. But she says that she hasn't gotten a one-on-one. She hasn't gotten a group rose. So she needs some kind of validation. And like I said, they're halfway through. It seems like this is going pretty quickly. He talks to some of the ladies. He gives Parisa a rock from Spain. He says he gives this to her because she collects like a rock from every place that she goes. Now listen, I have written here, so she has to get a rose this week because he gave her, I'm thinking he was thinking of her, so he's going to give this to her. This rock from Spain. Somebody on socials was like, he probably just got that rock from California and brought it, put it in his pocket and was like, here you go. I don't think that's the case. It probably was from Spain. Okay, but more on that rock later. Rose talks to Grant about last week, and he's pretty much like, it's water under the bridge. I see potential with you. He's rubbing her back. So maybe. And they kiss, and he's very like, he looks very interested in her. He sees them progressing. So maybe there is a rose for Rose this week. Zoe opens up quite a bit and tells her story about growing up. When she grew up in the South. She grew up in a community that was predominantly white, and she was adopted. So she never really got any kind of validation. She was never told that she was pretty. She was never really, it seemed like, valued. It made her she opened up and she connected with Grant. Grant connected with her about, with her story, and it softened her up. It softened her up a little bit from like the first and second week. He says that this makes him understand her better, and he connects to her on a deeper level now because he has felt the same way through parts of his life. Now, here's the thing. All the ladies are talking, and Carolina says something like, even though I had this one-on-one, I still have some questions. I'm unsure. Like, how am I supposed to accept a proposal at the end of this when I haven't even known him that long? Now, listen, I agree. I don't know how to me, it's not, I'm going to say that I agree with that last part. I think it's crazy that you don't know these, what time is it? Oh, it's 7:35. I agree that you don't know these people for that long, and then you're expected at the end to like accept the proposal. It's no surprise that these people don't stay together. Not a lot of them. They don't stay together. But on the other flip side, though, you knew what the show was about when you got into it. So now when she said all of this, she was like, when she said all this, you could tell that the ladies were like, it was rubbing them the wrong way. So Juliana pulled her aside, and just said, hey, listen, what you said back there, the way that you acted after you came back from the one-on-one, everything you said there, it's rubbing people the wrong way. It's leaving a bad taste in everyone's mouth. It's coming off as ungrateful, because there's a lot of us that have not had that time and would love to have that time and wouldn't be complaining. And if you're unsure now, if I was unsure, I would have left. This completely fell on deaf ears with Carolina. Absolutely. I mean, she was in her, I don't give a shit what you say, who are you again kind of era. Listen, I'm going to tell you what, I think Juliana handled that very well, and she handled that with great maturity because of the fact that she could have said something right out in front of everybody, but instead, and made it a lot of drama, made a big deal about it. However, she didn't. She pulled her aside, and she talked to just Carolina, and she didn't bring any of the other ladies into it. She didn't say anybody else's name. That right there, that is maturity. So back in the room, all the ladies are back in the room. Zoe asks both of the ladies, is there anything that you guys want to share about this? Well, Carolina talks a little bit. She opens up the floor to any comments. Does anybody have anything to say? Rose speaks up and says how she feels. Basically exactly, how the feelings that Juliana had conveyed, and she was shut down. A few more people agreed. They were shut down. And here's the thing. Carolina was standing real strong in her I don't give a shit what you have to say stance. And she was big and she was bad when it was just one person. But now, when she's in front of everyone, the tears start to flow. Now, all of a sudden, here's the tears. And now she's changing her story. And she's saying, I've never felt about a man the way I feel about Grant. That's funny because you were just saying that you had doubts, that you didn't know. Now, come on. That doesn't make any sense. So here comes Grant. Grant comes in the room. Everybody's quiet. Carolina, brushes her tears away a little bit. But Grant notices. And he's like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, everything's okay. So he starts to talk and he's like, wait a minute, I have to make sure that Carolina's okay. So here we go. Carolina hijacking another group date. So nobody else gets any chances to talk to him. Now, and listen, at what point is Grant gonna see what the common thread here is in all the common denominator in all of this drama? In these last two dramas, it was Carolina. So they go in, they talk about it. Carolina throws Juliana right under the bus. She's mean to me. She's bullying me. I feel terrible. She's making me feel bad. So there's no group rose. And after Grant leaves, Juliana once again being like the mature one, she's actually the one who she apologizes for going and talking to Grant and saying something. And who was it? I think it was Zoe that was like, it is not your fault. Meaning like, it's not your fault. It's your fault, Carolina. So, okay. Where's my note? Wait, where's my notes? Oh, wait a minute. Did I skip some of my notes? Okay. Well, wait a minute. No, I know what happens. Okay. Next day is the one-on-one with Serafina. This is exactly what Grant needs because the night before was a shit show. So he needs this. So, okay. What do you think they're going to be doing? Okay. Because if it's a one-on-one date, they're kind of running out of options. Usually what they do is either a walk around, they either like walk around the city or they go shopping, or they make you jump off a bridge or like an airplane or a building. So that's what they're gonna do. I put here, guaranteed they're jumping off something because ABC cannot help but equate bonding with possibly plunging to your death. It seems like Serafina is okay with this. Grant is not. Grant is scared to death of doing this. And this lady that's running this whole show, this whole shindig, doesn't really seem to be alleviating any of his fears or concerns, like, at all. Plus, it's pouring down rain at this point, and it's windy. And you're just jumping off of this, you're just jumping off of a bridge. So much could go wrong. So they're ready to jump. They jump and they're like real close together. So she calmed him down quite a bit. So they jump and they're just, it didn't look fun. Like it didn't even look smooth. Like it didn't even look smooth. It looked jerky. So, but they kiss, it's raining, they Spider-Man kiss, you know what I mean? Like hanging upside down. They Spider-Man kiss and but here's the thing. Every time after they have a date where you jump, the Bachelor is always like, the Bachelor or Bachelorette is always like, I have never felt closer to someone. This brought me so close to them. Okay, you jumped off of a bridge. So, I mean, maybe it's the adrenaline, but I don't know. He's feeling her though, so good for her. Date night portion, I missed what they talked about. She opened up, I know that. She gets the rose and she is falling in love with him. Hooray. Okay, the cocktail party, the question going in is, the ladies are like, hopefully this is not going to be the Carolina show again. Is it going to be another episode of the Carolina show? Probably. So Grant immediately walks in, addresses the drama after the last group date, and pulls Juliana aside. He wants to get to the bottom of this. He wants to get her side of the story, because he doesn't like to see Carolina like so upset. So listen, Juliana just says Carolina came back from her one-on-one. It came off as like very ungrateful, very unhappy. She had nothing positive to say about the date. She was very judgy of you. And this upset him because he had developed like a soft spot for her. And he felt like, based on information that he learned, that he wanted to protect her. But now she's questioning him and she's judging him. Like, is she judging his character? So, wait a minute. So he accepts this information. He thanks her. He gives her a little kiss. And okay, so he's not feeling so great. He's not feeling that great about Carolina. So could this be the end of Carolina? One can hope. But so Grant then pulls in Carolina, talks to her. And like I said, he says, to hear that you question me hurt me because I developed a soft spot for you. And based on what I learned about you, I want to protect you. And she goes on and she says, well, if I have doubts, it's because I'm taking this seriously and I'd rather deal with this now than at a time when it's too late. And he's like, I get all of that, but I wish if you had like questions or doubts that you would come directly to me instead of like airing them out in front of everybody. Exactly. So everybody's talking, and then Rose is talking, and I don't know why Carolina had to insert herself in that with Rose, but Rose was like, listen, after last week when you went to Grant and you said what I told you, I felt like you did me dirty. You backstabbed me. And you told him what I said. And now she's like, she feels like it's affected her chance with Grant. She gets very upset. The ladies all, console her, all like help her and try and calm her down. But she's just, honestly, to me, it almost seemed like she was getting ready to have like a panic attack or something, or an anxiety attack. She just walks out and gets some air, and this is kind of making her question if she wants to stay and if she can stay in this environment, which I don't blame her. I mean, it's a toxic environment, causes a lot of stress. That's not great for your mental health or your physical health. So she goes in, she talks to Grant. She tells him, listen, this is too much. This is just too toxic. I can't take this. I'm leaving. So she self-eliminated. So this is now the second rose ceremony that has been sabotaged by Carolina. And now all the women are being hurt by it. It seems like the only woman that is on her side now is Dina. So, okay, the rose ceremony. When they get to the rose ceremony, he's like, Rose self-eliminated. She went home. I understand. I mean, she couldn't take the environment. So she went home. Okay, so at the rose ceremony, these are the ones that are in order. I picked the first one right. And then the second one, no. But I picked the top three that he picked. I picked, just not in the right order. So number 1 was Latia. 2 is Juliana. Now listen, Juliana was standing right next to Carolina. Was that a sign? Was that some kind of little message? It could have been. Juliana was second, and then Alex. So those are my top 3. I think the final 3 are going to be Latia, Juliana, and Alex. That's what I think. So Latia, Juliana, Alex, Zoe, and left is Carolina, Natalie, and Parisa. And he picked Carolina. Boo. I have written no. But he picked Carolina. So out is Natalie and Parisa. Maybe now that I look back at it, maybe that rock was like a parting gift. Maybe it wasn't like, I'm thinking of you so much and I got to give you this and build our life together. This is the rock to build our life on. I don't think that was the case at all. I think that was like a parting gift. But now she gets to see her cat, Sunny. So you'll find love. Okay. So my opinion, Carolina is not endgame. Not at all. Next weekend, they're off to Scotland. That was the absolute worst Scottish accent. Scotland. That was terrible too. What time is it? Oh, it's 7:50. Okay. Try it sometimes. I'm not kidding. That does kind of work when you go like that. Okay. And also, it looks like next week, Juliana gets a one-on-one and Carolina makes it the Carolina show again on a group date. And even her bestie, Dina, is getting pissed. So, maybe next week. One can hope. Okay, listen. Seriously, I'm going to tell you this right now. In Bachelor in Paradise, they like to bring back like a villain and somebody who was like, who hated them, and then give like that villain like a spin and make them be like likable. Because they did that with Braden, because I hated Braden. But then by the time Bachelor in Paradise was over, Braden was okay. I didn't so much mind Braden. I'm going to tell you. So who's to say? Maybe if the winner is not, I don't think the winner is going to be Carolina. And if the winner is not Juliana, then bring those two. That would be something. So, okay. And there's people were saying, oh, there's talk that maybe, what's the one that I really liked? Alicia. You remember the one who he loved the first week, and then the second week it was like, she was just gone, and there wasn't even any kind of like interaction between them. Maybe she'll be on. I mean, I would like to see more of her. I liked her. I enjoyed her. So, okay, in the comments, let me know what you thought, because it's getting time. I gotta make my snack, and it's almost time for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And at 9 o'clock, me and Dolly are watching Deal or No Deal Island. Listen, say what you will. I love Joe Manganiello. Joe Manganiello is from Pittsburgh. He's from Mount Lebanon, which is in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. And I love him, and I have loved him, and I love him. All right, so that's it. Listen, this is a long video. If nobody told you yet today, you were loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world. So it comes right back at you. Please take care of one another. Be aware of your surroundings. Be smart and safe. Hydrate often with water. And number 4, if you're in a dangerous situation, please make sure to remember Dolly and I are sending our love, our thoughts, prayers, and all the positive thoughts and vibes that you need to make it through. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Under 35. Bye, guys.